In this video, we discuss real estate zoning, restrictions, and planning. All the real estate topics that make me feel warm and fuzzy inside. All that and way more. Stay tuned because we're starting right now. Listen, I'm in the people business. I just happen to help them sell and buy amazing properties. I've dedicated my life to making your real estate dreams a reality. I bring the very best marketing and industry strategies to help achieve the goals of my clients, friends, and family. Welcome to the channel. Hey YouTube, what is zoning? Well, zoning laws regulate the use of land within a municipality. They also control the ways in which that land can be developed and what purposes that zoned land can possibly serve. These townships have the right and power to establish zones or different districts that limit and specify their uses. In Massachusetts, most municipalities have local zoning laws that will divide individual communities into different zones. Such examples are open space, industrial, residential, and commercial. Some of the zones can commingle, creating multi-use zones, whereas businesses and residential properties can coincide. The purpose of zoning is to promote safety, public health, proper welfare, and that its purpose encourages the most proper use of that land throughout the community. Different examples of how zoned land could be developed are open space, parks, schools, water, transportation, floods, draining sewer, and to lessen the congestion of streets are just a few examples. The mechanism of zoning allows communities to shape their own futures. Zoning avoids placing a heavily industrial zone next to or in a residential zone. That would just be silly. If you want to learn more about what I think is happening in this fall market and what's in store for us for 2022, click up here on the card. Now, a short history lesson. Formal zoning laws didn't really exist until 1916, when New York City became the first to enact any kind of ordinances. This was the first comprehensive zoning laws ever recorded, which specifically arose over the dispute of one single skyscraper, the Equitable Building. All real estate in the United States is properly regulated through land use regulations and zoning. There are differences between land uses, land planning, and zoning. Many folks believe they're all one and the same. However, this isn't true. Land planning and land use is the way folks adapt said land to suit their needs, whereas the zoning is how the government has and will regulate that specific land. Hey, what's going on? My name is Vasilios. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here and you want to get the latest actionable tips from a local realtor that actually save you time, save you money, and result in a smooth real estate deal, start now by subscribing and click that bell notification so you don't miss anything. And if you like the video, then, like the video. Now, back to it. Now, before purchasing a property and then starting the building process, you need to determine if you actually can build before you even get a bid from a contractor or a builder. These municipalities and cities follow a comprehensive plan. It takes into account future land planning, which is rightfully called the master plan. I can't speak today, my goodness. This plan divides land into different zones: commercial, industrial, residential, etc. These zones affect what property you can buy and determines the use for that property. Now, in each different zone classification, there are restrictions. These restrictions may include size and height of a building, boundaries, restrictions on accessory buildings, location of utility lines, building backsets from the street, and specific requirements for the types of buildings allowed: number of rooms, frontage, minimum lot area size, side yards, off-street parking, historical cultural sites, preservations, and ecological considerations, just to name a few. There are 7 main types of land uses. Most common types of land include residential. Clearly, this is the land use that regulates where folks can live. This is one of the more detailed and complex designations, since there are different types of regulations with regard to different types of residences and densities. They all have separate regulations in place, and among all these different regulations, you have another set of regulations when you have mixed-use developments. These may include a mix of residential, recreation, and commercial zones. Commercial also has its different set of sub-designations as well. However, commercial land use may include office buildings, restaurants, shops, warehouses, and/or other commerce-type buildings. Other common types of land uses include transportation, agricultural, industrial, public use, and recreation. Now, when the city planners map out the entire city, they draw up the master plan. They characterize each different land use zone, and this will affect the city's future urban development. Now, there are 4 types of planning and land use zones. You have functional zoning, which includes the list of 7 types of land uses previously discussed in this video. We also have form-based zoning, intensity zoning, and incentive zoning. There will be more on these in the future video to come. Now, along with zoning, you also have restrictions that come from the government. Restrictive covenants and easements to keep in mind. With all the laws and restrictions of use, you may also be contending with restrictive covenants that are placed on said property. These are placed on a property by developers or are found in the deed of that property via a previous owner. Now, restrictive covenants or provisions that are in the deed would limit the land or property. Restrictive covenants prohibit certain uses. An example of this would be in a planned community where the following would be regulated: minimum size, setbacks, and other aesthetic considerations. An easement is the right to use a property of another's ownership, in many cases where a property is landlocked or you have an example of a shared driveway. Certain rights via an easement may be given to another property owner, where that easement would grant you access and rights to use that land. So why is land zoning, restrictions, and planning important? As you can see, if you're purchasing or even selling your home and you're unsure of these measures, you could be opening up a big can of worms. So please, use a real estate professional that is able to do all this homework for you before you sign that check or put in that offer. Hey guys, if there's anything in the world that you want to talk about or have a question, reach out anytime. No obligation. Really. 508-821-8835. It could be about the weather, cars, real estate, racing, whatever. Now, if you like this video, then check out these at the top of your screen. And if you need a guy like me, I have a guy like me's info in the description below. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.